Hello there, Libra, and welcome to your December forecast. It's great to see everybody, and this month is really exciting. Never mind the fact that it's the end of the year, it's actually a gateway month, a chance to walk through a portal and open up some energy and opportunities for 2020. The thing that sets this December apart is that we are entering into a number 4 year. And this is a very harmonious year, just like the Four of Wands if you want a visual image of something. It's about setting down a nice firm foundation, connecting with the right kind of people, achieving success after a period for many of you of disruption or frustration. This is a year to make things happen. So I really want to ensure that if there's anything that's holding you back, that gets cleared away. I want you to hit the ground running in 2020, and that's what we're going to do today. You don't have to wait until New Year's Eve to make a resolution. You don't have to wait until January to start planting these seeds so that, hopefully next year that they're all coming through. This is the time, this is the place, and that's why you're here today. So suffice to say, it's going to be a powerful reading. There's a lot of important information that's going to come through, and I think December can be a very busy and productive month for all signs, and that's my goal, is to open up opportunities for you and help you let go of stuff that could either be pulling you back or making you sort of exist in a shroud or a cloud of fear. That needs to go away. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the channeled message in a few minutes here. I'd like to begin by saying hello to everybody, first and foremost. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. For those of you that are returning, I just want to say thank you so much. We're entering into my 5th year of doing all of the videos, but I've been doing this even longer. So for those friends and clients and people that have been there all the way through this journey, thank you so much. It's great to see where we've come, and I can't wait to see what the next year has in store for everybody. And if you're brand new, I want to welcome you as well. This is, like I said, a great time to join because it's going to be jam-packed with some good information. Let me tell you a little bit about how I organize the reading. Each and every month, I like to start off with channeled information. The channeled information comes when I select a deck of cards, meditate, and then whatever I hear, feel, and see through my clairvoyant skills, I'm going to share with you. So it's just raw intuition, probably my favorite part. After that, then we will take a look at all of the cards, and that's going to give us much more of a roadmap. The way that I view intuition, and especially tarot reading, is that I'm presenting you with opportunities and energy sort of signatures. And you'll be able to discern what's best for you. So that Celtic cross portion is going to help either give you the confirmation of where you're at or help you see some things that maybe you want to explore. I also like to extend the forecast after that. This is the third part, and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So as you can see, there's a lot here to take in. And as a courtesy at the very end, I will summarize everything, try to compress it into about 3 to 5 minutes. And then I will also give you a closing word. If you like what you see, stick around until that point because I will also let you know how you can give back to the channel. This is 100% viewer supported, so everything that you see here is made possible by folks that like and subscribe, share across social media, book an appointment, or are a patron through either Patreon or PayPal or something like that. I'm going to go into how you can get involved at the end of the video, but I know you came here for advice and for information, so let's take a look at that right now. All right, Libra, as I selected a deck of cards and I began to meditate on your sign, the first message that came through is that there's a clearing that's necessary. A clearing of thoughts, first and foremost, because thoughts are both a magnetic force and also they can be a destructive force. So I want you to use really clear thoughts this month of what you want to create, what you want to do, what you want to bring into creation this month. Because I feel like there is something either associated with fear, with doubt, frustration, or anger that's somehow kind of around you. It could be a projection from a loved one, or it could be something you've empathically kind of taken on from someone else who couldn't process it. And all you need to do is kind of sweep through your energy field and put into it the thought that I release anything that is not of my mind, of my body, and I now infuse my thoughts with the energy of possibility. I can do this. I will do this. As I'm saying this, I actually feel an activation right around my stomach. So I feel like some of you, it's a power dynamic. Oftentimes this is a connection between parents and children because we have that bond with our mother that is really right there in that solar plexus. So whether you are a child or you are a parent, you might want to go into that dynamic first and see if there's anything that needs to be resolved. Then look at other power dynamics in your life. Is there a person in your life that is claiming your power or making you doubt yourself? This could be a boss, it could be a friend or a coworker. Whoever the first one that kind of comes to mind is for you, that's where I want you to focus on releasing any sort of tension or negative feelings that you have about that person, and instead start to feel a sense of, I've got this, I'm under control. And if you can approach that person or that feeling with gratitude, then you can start to dissolve that connection that you have that I felt in the solar plexus. And you can also start to clear whatever it was that was sort of clouding your energetic field that I was picking up on. So sometimes this can kind of look like a mist, or it can look like a cloud, or it can just be something murky around you. But what this is doing, and what the reason you want to get rid of it this month, is it's kind of blocking your field of view or your ability to perceive things. It's kind of like if you're walking in the fog, you can't quite see beyond your hand. So I want you to be able to see all the way out to the horizon, all of the possibilities. So in your mind's eye, you could imagine that you're breathing and that you're sending this healing energy all around you, and you're pushing out any sort of clouds, any sort of mist, anything around you, so that all that's left is this beautiful, clear blue energy. If you happen to own anything like sage or incense or frankincense or anything that you would use to smudge, you can then also go ahead and smudge the space that you live in, and then also don't forget to smudge your own body. This will be the sort of final way to get rid of whatever is there, and continue that meditation process of seeing your light, your energy, and almost like sending the shockwave of love around you. That's the best way that I can do it. And it's going to push things that are not in that frequency of love, of light, of the highest divine power, and then you're going to be fine. That's all. You have a little bit of an attachment, and it's a thought attachment. And again, it could be something that someone else has pushed onto you: doubt, frustration, fear, or kind of this power dynamic of trying to kind of control what's going on. So once you've cleared that, things are going to be much, much better. You're going to feel a lot better, and that's where I would start. After that happened, I felt this sensation almost as if I've never skydived, but I would imagine that this is what it's like. It was this free-falling energy, which sometimes happens right before you take a leap of faith. So I think some of you might be experiencing a decision or a point in your life where you're going to have to follow your instincts, and that involves a little bit of risk. But I felt freedom attached with this new choice or this new energy that you're going to be approaching. So clarity first, then this sense of freedom or opening, and then the image that came to me was the chariot, and I saw myself superimposed over like a car. So it was the chariot first, and then I saw the modern equivalent to that, which would be an automobile. And I was holding on to the steering column, or the steering wheel. And as I did this, I felt this sense of authority, control, direction. And my guides whispered, know what you want, know where you're headed. And I think for some of you, this month is a chance for you to find what has been sort of taking your power or clouding your vision, free yourself from it, and then take ownership or control and decide what you want to do. It was a very entrepreneurial energy, almost as if it was the empress or emperor or high priestess, where you're going to take something and manage it for yourself. So whether that is more symbolic and you're just sort of owning your power and deciding to not let people push you around, or literally you're deciding, you know what, I'm going to do something on my own. Maybe you're walking away from a relationship, leaving a job and starting your own company, or kind of taking back the decision-making ability from someone that is usurped it in your life. It could be a partner who just decided they were going to try to do everything for you, and in the process you kind of lost yourself. It could quite literally be like an agent or a manager in your life that is just doing too much. Whoever or whatever it is, you get to take control back this month, and it's going to feel exhilarating when you do this. It'll also be a little scary. You could feel that sense of free falling, but as long as you know where you're going to be okay. So the three words that came to me were clarity, clearing your energy, getting other people's thoughts and fears outside of your head and outside of your auric shield, that feeling of freedom and owning for a second, that ability to kind of do whatever you want. Sorry, there's a car outside there. And also then taking control. But it's interesting that we hear that beeping, because I feel like for some of you, you have this chance to wake up, and it's kind of like that. It's an alarm clock. And it's saying, hey, I'm here. It's time to hit reverse, just like we're hearing. I don't believe that there's any accidents. And even something like that message, that information was absolutely part of this for you. So I want you to pay attention. And if you have that warning sign that we heard outside, if you have something like that that's been beeping for a month or two in your head, like, I need to do this, I need to take care of this, but you've been ignoring it, don't. This is the month to take action. This is the time to fix it. And that's why you tuned in today. So let's take a look at the cards now, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into how this relates to you. And we're going to look at everything from the high points to the low points and any of the challenges that are going to show up that could temper the other opportunities this month. So at this point, I'm going to turn the camera down, and please be patient as I do that. I'll turn it up afterwards, and we'll talk about each and every card and relate it to the messages for December. All right, let's begin with your Catalyst card. As many of you know, the Catalyst is a way to connect all the messages and really attach to and embrace the highest energy of the month. When I look at this, the message that came to me was to use your voice, not to let anybody else try to put words in your mouth. And that's almost what this was reminding me of, someone else almost kind of like using your body to say what they want to say. And this goes back to kind of like taking control and having freedom and clarity on what you're trying to do. So for some of you, there's going to be a chance to push back and say, no, that's not what I want to do, or that's not what I said, or that's not how I'm going to say this. So it's hard, especially when we have someone in our life that we trust, but they're not giving us the sort of feedback that we need because maybe they're not listening. So do what you need to this month to make sure that your voice, your opinion, your point of view is being represented. And if at any point it feels like someone's trying to put words in your mouth, don't allow that. It's okay for you to stand up. It's not always easy because, especially as Libra, you want to try to make people happy, but you can use your own diplomacy skills to find a way to communicate and push back in a way that doesn't sound like it's too harsh, and in fact is going to help them see that you have a clear idea of who you are and what you want. That's a great leadership skill, being able to say no, being able to call someone out if they're doing something that's not right, and just standing up for yourself. So this is a chance for you to show your strength, and if you see it in that light, I feel like it's going to be okay. The other thing that I want to just say here is the power of words and the how words can kind of linger and sting. So know that if you say beautiful things, they have that power of benediction and blessing. If you say negative things, they have the reverse kind of energy. They can sting, they can sort of stick in energy. So the same way I was picking up on what might be in your energetic field, you have the same capacity to do that for others. So if you didn't feel it in your own energy, just be mindful this month of how you say things and what you kind of exchange with another person so that you're not kind of leaving them with a feeling of sadness or anger after a conversation. Basically, just lean on those great diplomatic skills that many of you have, and you're going to be in a good place for doing that. All right, let's go to your central card. We have the Seven of Pentacles. And I always see this as a card of recovery. It's actually got really positive energy. For some of you, this shows that you've been working really hard to create this like firm foundation of independence, financial independence in particular. And the Seven of Pentacles typically comes after a period where you may have sort of worked really hard to pay off a debt or a bill, or to try to like pull away from someone that might have been supporting you. So what I'm seeing here is that you've done a really good job of creating some financial stability, that there's still work to be done. Some of you may just have a really high threshold or goal for what you need to kind of create, especially if you're going to start your own business or something like that. So just keep at it and be smart about purchases and how much time and energy you're putting into things. I think you want to, whenever I see like the 6 or 7 of Pentacles, there's a little bit of balance that goes into these cards. So if there's something in your life right now where you're giving too much energy to it, this is a month to pull it back a little bit, because I do feel like with the 7 of Pentacles, you need to kind of move things around a little bit. There's a puzzle piece that's missing. So one part of your life is taking more than it's giving, and if you try to do a different process or a different approach, I feel like you're going to have better success, and you're going to feel or see like a bigger return on your investment of time and energy. Okay? So keep working hard, but try working a little bit differently in a couple areas of your life and see if you don't notice an increase in your productivity and also in your resources. Resources can include energy too. It's not just about money. So if you're feeling depleted, something has to change. Try something new. That's that risk that I was seeing with the Freedom card. We didn't get the Fool here, but that's very much kind of the energy that I see with going out on a limb and trying something new. All right, I love this Page of Pentacles. This shows me that whatever you feel like you may or may not be able to do, you're going to be fine. You're going to be able to do it. The Page of Pentacles shows success. What's important for you is, again, to have a clear vision. You'll notice here on the ground, this page has a map, a plan for where they're headed. And they're picking a direction. They're deciding based on this now where they want it to go. So for those of you that are creative, this is kind of the equivalent of sitting down and outlining or sketching out something before you commit to it. So I really think all of the groundwork that you lay, the planning, the research, all of that sort of question asking that you do this month to really get a firm understanding is going to be key. And then when you talk to other people, because a page is what? A communicator, right? They go between two people and deliver messages. It's about hearing messages and receiving them, and then also sending messages. So I want you to believe what you're trying to sell, to see value in that, to see value in yourself. And this is going to bring in money, opportunities, and a sense of fulfillment. So you've got 2 great cards at the center, both resource-based. One showing that you need to reallocate, one showing that that's going to be a successful reallocation. So I'm feeling good about that for many of you. For some of you, this can indicate a new job that could be sort of put into your lap or comes through sort of word of mouth, because for me, a page can sometimes be something you hear from a friend. So stay open, listen to things going on around you. That's part of the reason I wanted you to kind of clear your thoughts and clear your mind. Some of you might just be stuck in a particular way of thinking or doing something. And so this month you get to be unstuck. and it's a little scary sometimes, right? When you try a new approach, but I keep getting that energy of enthusiasm, the rush that you get when you also try something new. And if you can kind of attach to that instead of the fear, it's going to be a good thing for you. When I look at the deep past, the interesting thing is you've already figured this out to some degree. The 2 of Wands is knowing what you want. For some reason, some of you started to second guess what you knew you wanted and started to second guess that little map that I saw that, is in this particular illustration. You had it all planned out. So if there was someone or something that took you off that path, just know that it was a distraction. It doesn't necessarily mean that your idea wasn't well conceived. And I'd love for you to get back to that place of focus that it seemed like you had maybe a month ago. So this is about playing catch up. I see something good in the past that somehow has been shrouded, clouded, or lost here in the recent past, like the past few weeks. The 2 of Swords is almost the opposite of the 2 of Wands. This is clarity. This is sort of a stalemate, confusion, doubting yourself. There's nothing about the 2 of Swords, again, that says where you're at is wrong. It's just saying you have to start to move. The normal 2 of Swords will show a woman that's blindfolded, holding 2 swords. There's a path either behind or in front of her, depending on the illustration, but she's not moving because she doesn't know what to do. And what she's basically done in the symbolism of the card is, through her indecision, through her overthinking, she's kind of planted roots and can't move. So all this is the paralysis of fear. Go back to that great planning and that great insight that for some reason you're second guessing, and you're going to be fine. So what I'm really doing here for you, for many of you, is just helping you see you actually had the right approach, go with it. Once you do, there's this feeling of euphoria, and that's also, again, what I keep seeing time and again. We have the Knight of Cups. So we see a progression here in the court cards. We went from the page to the Knight. What I love about the Knight of Cups is it's a highly creative card. It's one where people are very much drawn to the energy of this because you're enthusiastic. There's an attractive and also a sort of very sort of cultivating energy that exists with the Knight of Cups. So love what you're doing, convey that love, that passion to others, take any sort of creative impulse or inspiration that you have and really use that to fuel your creative energies this month. It's a good thing. So once you get past the illusion that you can't move, you're going to be fine, and I see a lot of movement happening. Now, you actually may feel, again, like all these ideas flood in and you're going to have to try to make sense of them. So what we have here is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups can be really great when you're trying to brainstorm and think of a lot of different things, or when you're in a place where you're trying to innovate and think outside of the box. But the Seven of Cups, left unchecked, can become the Two of Swords. So I would say pick one of these things that you're thinking about, the one that you're intuitively drawn to, or the one that you had thought about in the past, and just go with it. Don't overthink. That's the main message here. And also, don't try to do everything. When I look at cards like, the Seven of Wands or the Seven of Cups, it shows that, yeah, you can manage a lot of things, but sometimes more isn't more. It's just confusion. So if you can pick a couple of things, make that your focus, finish that, move on to the next thing, you're going to be a lot more successful. As we take a look at the ego, I think we have to rapidly look at also the environment as well. So the ego is the devil, and the environment is justice reversed. We see a figure in the devil here that's showing something that isn't true here. We see someone that you should be able to trust, but you can't. And then we see a clear indication that there's a decision to walk away. So let's break down the different kinds of devil type energy that can be in your life. Since this is ego, it can be you. So at its sort of core level, this is just about being honest with yourself. There could be something going on where you just know you have to change. A devil card can show addiction. It can show sort of a behavior or a way of being that is counterproductive or not healthy. So if there's something in your life that is putting your health or your happiness at risk, the devil card came through to say, you know what you have to change it. And with the justice card in reverse right above it, it means quitting, leaving, or making something right. So if there is a sort of a legal thing that's going on, the justice card is about asking for help, getting some sort of advice and rectifying that. Maybe even, deciding to do a lawsuit and sue somebody. The other thing with the devil card, looking at relationships in your life, it has to do with people who you don't trust, because either they're not portraying a true version of themselves to you, or you found something out. Because usually with the devil, there can be a third party involved, or the person just isn't ready to commit. And it can be any level of commitment. This could be sort of, you went on an interview, you thought you would hear back from the person, and it's been 2 months and they never got back to you. In this particular situation, that's the devil. They may have said, this was great, thank you so much, we'll be in touch, but they didn't follow up. So it's a clear indication you deserve better. You deserve someone that would follow up with you. It can also be someone that you've decided to start dating, and you just get this feeling that they're not available. They may have another person in their life, an ex that they haven't fully kind of detached from, either symbolically, or maybe there's a divorce that hasn't been finalized. So be very discerning, take your time, get to know everybody and all the sort of different people that you're going to engage with this month, and trust your instincts. They're good, they're spot on. If it doesn't feel good, walk away from it, dissolve it. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of time, and this is going to be good. Ultimately, that's about the freedom and control. It's better to walk away from something like that and keep your self-control and your also just like your name, your brand, your money, all of that stuff. That's important. So if somebody's there and they're putting your personal safety or your personal assets at risk, you have to walk away from that, okay? The good news is this isn't tempering your outcome, and it's not in the crowning position. It shows me something around you or someone around you that it's just not the right match. You're going to recognize this when it comes through. It won't be a difficult decision, and you can walk away from it. Again, if it's not a person, then it's something in your health or in your habits that you need to change. So health, habits, or personalities. Something's coming through this month and showing its true colors. You realize you have to change it or walk away from it, and then you're going to do that this month. And if you do it, I think you're going to be fine. We mentioned meditation and the power of meditation. When I look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have a very yoga-esque Hierophant here. And this is also showing that I like this interpretation of the Hierophant. It's not always about, going to church or having some sort of really rigid meditation practice. This is actually just about kind of thinking outside of the norm, I would say, a little bit, because the Hierophant can be a very constricting and sort of restricted energy. You're going to come at this with a new age perspective, just trying to bring things into control without trying to see it just as black and white. Because in order to be able to perceive energies like this, the devil is really shades of gray sometimes. And that's why the devil can be a very elusive or a very sometimes even seductive force. Because you think it's good and then you look at it and you're like, no, that's really bad. So whether it's like a habit or, again, a person, they don't show their true colors immediately, but you're going to pick up on it. I felt it. I feel like if anything, it's just going to be something on a gut level or an intuitive level that you read, and I just want you to honor that. Once you get past this, I really love the outcome. We have the 8 of Wands. As we're looking at both December and January, you could have a very busy holiday season. You might be working a lot. You might get a lot of new leads if you're an independent business, or you might get a job that's coming through if you're a freelancer. Whatever it is, I feel like there's a lot of productivity. Even if you're just sort of like working around the house, it just feels like you have a lot of energy and newfound inspiration, and follow that up with things that make you passionate, and you're going to be able to keep that momentum going. Overall, I like what I see, but it does look like some of you might be exiting a relationship or a job, and there's a new job or relationship coming in, because we have a Page and a Knight, which show movement and new things, new developments. Overall, this is good because when we look at the core, you actually need a little bit more when it comes to energy and money. So whatever's shaking it up this month, it's going to be good. It's going to get rid of this codependency or this illusion or this person that wasn't ready to show up the way they needed to show up. And you might be better off on your own, whether it's professionally or personally or both, okay? So don't be afraid to put that line in the sand and explore new things. I think there's some really great opportunities on the horizon for you. Let's expand the forecast and we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. This will allow me to also give some additional context to everything that we just talked about. When we look at health, this is not just what's going on in your body, it's your thought process, your energy, your environment. The card was reversed, so let's put it in the upright position. It says inner strength. Move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. And you see her there kindling her energy, her heart, her soul, and knowing that she can take ownership over this. This is a combination for me of sort of like the Ace of Wands, because I see that fiery energy, or the Queen of Wands, and also the Strength card in Tarot. And so I think for many of you, there's a chance to pull the reins back and say, no, this is mine. I want to do this, or this is the way to do it. And you're going to be pulling it back from someone who really doesn't understand or respect your point of view. And that's A-okay. You have to rectify something with a situation that just isn't working out the way you want it. And justice reversed is as easy as saying no sometimes. Because when I'm looking at a situation, it can be a breakup, it can be a separation, or it could just be a verbal expression of disapproval and say, no, not that. Let's talk about it again, or that doesn't feel right to me. So whatever it is, you're going to be strong. You're going to say, this is what I want. And it's a very pushy energy when you see a Strength card in reverse or a Queen of Wands in reverse. And I actually think that's okay right now, because in health, it's important for you to take back the ownership and the control so that you feel good. That's what's been sort of depleting some of you a little bit. And that's the change that may be necessary here at the center with the Seven of Pentacles. So once you've pulled that back into a good place, then we see productivity, we see a feeling of being okay. I think that you will not be sort of thinking about it so much, because the Seven of Cups and also the Two of Swords can be an obsessive energy, thinking too much, going down a particular path too much. And what I see now is this veil being lifted. And all of a sudden, you see the blue sky above you and you realize it's okay. So don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to push back. The other thing is with this inner strength card and that fiery energy that would go along with what I was feeling in the solar plexus. So work on strengthening your core from just a sheer body perspective, I would say it's a really good time if you're feeling difficulties in relationships, or you know that there's going to be a big thing that you have to take care of this month. The more you can strengthen your core, the more you're going to be able to channel energy through your body, the more you're going to be able to stand up to people. So work on that. Sit-ups, Pilates, yoga. We saw yoga being a very strong energy in this spread, so I think that would be great for you to reconnect with if that's something you've done in the past. That's really all I see with respect to health. The only other thing, looking at the Devil card, this is again saying many of you know that there's something that you want to improve on. Back when I was doing the channeled message, we heard that beeping sound. I said sometimes we have a thought that kind of ricochets in our head, like I should do this, or I should call the doctor, or I should take care of this. Whatever the I should have ... is for you, take care of that this month. Honor that. It's your body, it's your mind, it's your higher self saying take care of it. So we don't always hear the literal alarm that we were hearing then, but it's the same thing if there's a thought that's kind of stuck, and you'll know what that is if it's been present in your mind. All right, so we just looked at health. Let's move along to wealth. Wealth is not just about money or resources. It's also about how you feel about the two of those things, and also, are you pulling opportunities in or are you pushing them away? So I have a card here also reversed, but it says quest. And what we see here is this feeling of starting a new path, a new journey. And for some of you, it's almost like you're looking for the person that's going to tell you what to do on this quest. But what I'm seeing here for you is you are the one that's kind of making that journey, that path, that decision. So we didn't see the actual card here, but there's definitely the energy of like the Emperor or the Empress. So you're okay this month if you decide, I want to do this. You're kind of this sage here in the background. You don't have to wait for someone else. And if you can playfully look at the year ahead as a quest, as a challenge, as something that you're looking forward to, it's going to be good. The interesting thing here is that we kind of have a reimagined version of the Two of Swords here, where there's two paths behind this woman. And again, you're the one that's going to have to decide, because when you ask someone else for the advice, unless we're talking about legal stuff, but when you're just trying to figure out what's best for your heart and soul, if you ask someone else and don't make the decision, then you're not accountable. And it's sometimes convenient to just sort of blame that person. This month, all of the signs, all of the energy is saying, when you take the accountability, when you take the ownership, when you take the reins back, it's going to be better. You're going to learn more, and it's going to be a better outcome. So just trust yourself and know that whatever you've decided, that was the path that you were supposed to go on. So there you go. Let's look now at love. We looked at health and wealth. Love is all about how to exist in that frequency of joy and love, also how to call more loving relationships into your life. So this is saying some of you have been putting this off, and I concur with that. There's a lot of resource cards. There's a lot of stuff that you've been working through. I think for some of you, you have to kind of clear out your energy first, whatever the codependency is or whatever the other relationship is in your life that doesn't feel good. Completely separate from that first. And then once you've done that, it says take your first step. So it's okay. If you're single and looking, this card is saying, yeah, you could absolutely start to get out there and meet people. But be discerning, be picky, make sure that these people are free and looking for the same thing. Interestingly enough, the devil doesn't mean that the person is bad. Let's say that you have been in a long-term relationship and you've just separated. If you're trying to find love again and you want to just take it slowly, if someone is looking to immediately jump into a relationship, the two of you could actually be sort of depicted as the devil because you have differing points of view. You don't want the same thing. So just have a conversation when you meet someone and see what was their last relationship like and what are they looking for. I think these are things that would naturally come up if you were dating someone. If they're kind of sketchy about what the last relationship was like, it means perhaps that they're not out of that or they're not over that person, and you can use that as a red flag and maybe focus your energy elsewhere. If you're in a relationship this month, this is saying don't be afraid to initiate something fun or playful with you and your partner. Take the first step. So maybe say, I miss you. Let's do something this Friday night, and you basically create a date night. If you're single and happy, this card is really just saying now is the time to get started on finding business partnerships, because we see the Page of Pentacles here and the Knight of Cups, or just getting started on some sort of an endeavor that you want. All of the work you see now and you're doing right now, as we look at the future, there's all these crops here in the distance. You're going to be able to reap the reward and also see that the time was well spent right now in the planning and kind of mapping out of everything, which we talked about just a little bit ago. Looking now at your destiny card. Destiny is not written in stone. This is always moving. This is really showing you your overall trajectory, and you can evaluate, is this what I want? Is this still valid for me? So this says storm fields, and it's something that's in the distance. It's reversed. And I believe for many of you, this is about honoring something that you can see as a potential problem or situation that you need to deal with, and you want to fix it this month. For many of you, this is the combination of recognizing the sort of energy of being trapped or not being authentic and just saying no or walking away or rectifying it. So I feel like that's an avoidable situation. The other thing here is really interesting is when you look at the Eight of Wands, this is a good card, believe it or not. The Eight of Wands is about potential growth and situations coming through in your life, new opportunities. But you notice in this one, there's almost this like hurricane behind the person. And the card was reversed, by the way. So I feel like there could be so much work coming through next year, so many opportunities coming through next year, that some of you might be trying to catch your breath and to get ahead of that. So what you can start to do this month is to plan so that you have a little bit more free time in January and February. And then instead of it being stormy and scary, it becomes something that's exciting and exhilarating, and you'll be able to ride that storm. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll leave you with a closing message. Your channeled message this month had to do with basically reclaiming a few areas of your life. First of all, making sure that you are clear in your mind, in the energetic field around you, and also in what you're trying to create in your life at this time. Ultimately, we saw that in the representation of the map here on the ground here. Also knowing that whenever some sort of a change happens, it's okay to feel that sense of fear, that exhilaration, but ultimately it's going to lead to freedom. And that's something that's important, because as you have that freedom, you'll be able to take control over what you want and really be able to steer the ship or steer the car in the direction that you want to go. So clarity, freedom, and control, these are the things that you want to really focus on meditating about this month. And don't be afraid to also use smudging techniques to help. You can check out one of the videos that I have. I think I called it Smudging 101, and it's on my channel here for free. So feel free to look at that. Know that the power of words are something that you should not underestimate. So choose yours carefully and realize that other people's thoughts or energies or words may be kind of hanging around you. So that's one of the things that you want to try to separate from this month. Another thing is make sure that things that you say and do are something that you want to do. Don't let someone else be pulling the strings, and that's what this reminds me of. It's almost as if they're kind of projecting words in your mouth or trying to make you do what they want to do. This is your life, this is your decision. Accountability, ownership, and really being in control, that was something that was key that I saw in the meditation for you this month, so I think you should really embrace that. The central card was showing that there's something that you need to be focusing on to get a better return. Seven of Pentacles shows that you're doing okay, but there is something where I feel like you're putting too much energy into it, and a slight change of process could yield a really good result, which is what we see right here. For some of you, this could just symbolize getting a new job or maybe having a new opportunity land in your lap. It looks good to me as well. The other aspect of this card was having a clear vision for the next year, knowing that when you know what you want, the universe knows what you want, other people recognize that, comes across as leadership, confidence, and it brings in more abundance. In the deep past, you know what you need to do, but for some reason you're doubting yourself. So I want you to stop overthinking things and go back to that understanding that you have this, you know what you need. So somehow someone or something got in the way of that. It could have been a person that just kind of came in and wanted to cause a delay. It could be because this person just doesn't know what they're doing, because sometimes that's part of the devil too. Whatever it is, there is a little bit of, that's some of the cloud that I saw, and I feel like you guys can absolutely overcome this. It was something or someone that needed to come through and show you something about yourself. At the end of it, it's that you can control this, that you have this. And that's also an energy of the Hierophant. It's sort of like a very controlled and also confident leader. And so I want you to find that confidence in yourself. I think that was the one thing that might have been lacking previously. Getting into this can also be something in your health that you need to take care of. You'll know what it is because it should have been something like that beeping alarm that I heard earlier that has been a persistent thought kind of bugging you. I need to take care of this. So take care of it. If you're dating anyone or engaging in any contracts, do the research. Make sure that you're both on the same page. You'll be able to figure out who you want to be with and who you don't want to be with. It should be something that, on the first meeting, you just click or you don't. So honor that intuition. And if you hear something that gives you a red flag, pay attention to that. if you're doing anything related to contracts this month, it's probably going to take a couple of passes. You want to have a really good lawyer or a really good set of eyes help you look at that. The Justice card in reverse also simply has to do with the power of saying no, pushing back, separating, doing what's right for you, and doing what's right full stop. You know, if there's something that needs to be rectified in the place that you work, or if you want to kind of engage with social justice and try to change the world for the better, all of these aspects are contained within this card. It's something going on around you, though, that's inspiring you, so that should hopefully help you decide what it is for you. The Hierophant, as I said, is a strong leader. This is the quality that you want to cultivate within yourself. The only thing that's a little bit, I think, atypical with this card and probably the way you want to approach it is you may have a new age or non-conventional sort of approach towards leadership. The most important thing is that you can own that innovative way of thinking, and then it might be something in 10 or 15 years that people look at and it becomes traditional. Everything that's traditional was once non-traditional, so don't worry about it. Whatever this is that you're trying to do, just have confidence, and I think that's key. There's a lot going on in your life. It could sometimes feel like it's a little stormy. The important thing for you is planning, and I think that planning is going to help you avoid a future storm, which is what we saw here. Remember, this month, it's okay to be pushy. It's okay to have that inner strength and to really reclaim anything that you lost in the way of power or authority. You've got this, and I trust you are going to be able to manage it. In that respect, when we look at wealth, it's your journey, and only you can make that decision in front of you. And so realize that you're actually the sage that is in this picture. You're not the one seeking the assistance. You are the one that's going to call the shots, and that's going to be key to success. Take the initiative in all forms of relationships. For new ones, you could be the one that's going to ask someone out. For existing ones, you might just interject some spontaneity and say, hey, let's meet up tonight and have a date night, like I said. And if you're trying to initiate some sort of a project or you want to start something, it's saying the time that you spend now is really going to help you out next year. I was paying attention to the fields here, which looked like they were filled with corn or some sort of crop, and I could see the growth that was going to take place for the next quarter of the year. So do the work now, reap the benefits later. And again, what we saw here with the storm fields is either just an indication of how busy you're going to be or a chance to prepare for something on the horizon. You know what to do, you know how to fix it, so use this time right now to get everything organized and in place. So this brings your monthly reading to a close, but I hope that you got all the guidance that you needed to be able to maximize the opportunities this month and really get ready for January. As we can see here, it's going to be busy. We have a lot of activity coming through, and I don't think it's something that you have to be worried about. I think that with proper planning and organization, you can kind of weather that storm with the sense of ease that we see with this Hierophant here. But it is important to kind of weed out some of the things that have been distracting you. So I'll get more into that in the final word in just a moment, but I'd like to talk about what I said at the beginning, which is how you can support the channel if you're interested. First and foremost, if you want to talk a little bit more about something that we discussed here, or if you have another major life decision that's going on, now is a great time to book ahead for January. So feel free to click on the first card or the first link. This will take you to my booking site where you can check out rates and availability, and I would love to chat with you if that makes sense. Otherwise, if you just like to say thank you and give back a little bit for all the production that I put into today's video, there's a really easy way to do that. You can click on the second card or the second link below the video, and this will take you to a page on my website that outlines how you can be a patron. For some people, this just means giving $1 over the course of a year to say thank you, and for others, it might be an ongoing contribution. Whatever it is, I just want to say thank you. It helps me keep up to date on my supplies, on my production equipment, and also it helps me set out all the time that I need to do the videos. So whatever you've done in the past, you made today possible, and if you're thinking of doing it today, you're going to make the next round possible. So thank you so much for really your generosity and contribution as well. Finally, an easy way to show support, just involves a few clicks or a few taps, is to like and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already, and then click on the third card or the third link, and this will take you to a page on my site that allows you to connect with me on social media. You may or may not know, but I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I also have a newsletter. So please feel free to join me across all of those different networks and then share what you see here on your respective social media feeds. Not only does this help the channel, but it also helps me with a few planetary goals. I want to raise awareness about metaphysics and about spirituality. I also want to provide some resources for people so that they can become inspired and we can have more light workers on the planet. That's the purpose, really, for me to show up each and every month. So a simple share does all of that, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate you and I appreciate that gesture. Let's go ahead now and talk about your closing word this month. I really liked what came through with respect to the channeled message. Clarity, freedom, control. These are good things. And I feel like this month, when you embrace that energy, this is what's possible. First of all, a reallocation of energy, resources, or process is going to allow for an increase in productivity. An understanding of where you're headed is also going to attract people that are looking for someone who knows what they want, who are going to respect you as a leader, and who aren't going to be testing you in the way that you've maybe been tested in the past. I think this situation came through because of the doubt that you had in your own ability, in your own person. Let that go. You don't need that. You have exactly what it takes to move forward on your own. Do it with a sense of joy, with a sense of clarity. And as you do that, you're going to be busier than you imagine next year. Prepare for that and really expect the best and think, I've got this under control. I want to see you cultivate this inner fire, this strength, this passion that we see here. And through this, you're going to be able to inspire others as well. There's a lot of really good energy here, and there's only really two cards here that cause me to kind of take pause. Again, the Devil and the Justice card. So with the two of these, you know what you need to change. You know who you need to walk away from. You know what is working and what's not working. So just honor it. And when you do it, it's going to be kind of like what I felt in the meditation, where this big veil or this big curtain is released, and all of a sudden you see options, you see the opportunities, you see the truth. You see the man behind the curtain. So you've got this, and I feel really optimistic about this month and 2020. Do a little bit of cleaning up here with whatever this is for you, and then you have this wonderful 8 of Wands energy bringing you into a very productive 2020. We'll talk at much greater length about what's coming through next year when I do the January videos. Between now and then, I just want to say have a fantastic December, a very good New Year's, and if you're celebrating any holidays this month, I hope that you really enjoy those. You've worked hard and you deserve that. And as we can see here with the Knight of Cups, there may be new love, new relationships, or new opportunities that come through as you kind of let your hair down and have some fun this month. So make sure you say yes to some of those invitations, okay? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey, for spending time with me, and I wish you love, light, and happiness now and always. See you soon.